ensure that the old order is gone. And I have come with the new order.
In the legendary words of Ken Lear, the philosopher, the essence of great leadership is influence, not authority. It is not enough to clinch power just for the mere show of authority, ostentation or affluence, which is like a norm within and around our climes, especially in this part of the globe, but the vision to lead and the mission to achieve. Governor Hope Uzodimma, in his wisdom, understands that a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Little wonder the style of leadership in Imo State, the Eastern Heartland, assumed a different form and dimension, with a vowed commitment to be exemplary, eschewing that hitherto concept of business as usual and replacing it with good governance concept. And in his continuous efforts to bring good governance and development to the people of Imo State, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, in less than 100 days in office, has impacted positively in mostly all the sectors of the Imo economy, in spite the fact that the circumstances surrounding his emergence did not avail him the luxury of a transition period, which most governors-elect enjoyed and had the privilege of using as a preparatory phase to actual governance. Governor Uzodimma didn't allow this distract him, as he immediately swung into action to walk the talk. As a humanitarian par excellence, he made his first visit to the State Secretariat, which is the fulcrum of all government activities. Senator Hope Uzodimma, the man of the moment, the hope of Imo, was received with a resounding ovation, which no doubt signifies that he is the man they have been waiting for. And in his usual manner, the governor promised that his administration will enhance the welfare and productivity of workers in the state.
If we don't get the civil service right, if we don't create the necessary motivation, if we don't provide job security to your people, if we don't allow you to get job satisfaction, it means the engine of government is broken down. And once the engine of a vehicle is broken down, the body is thrown into the bush. So I have come to give you hope.
Therefore, to match words with action and ensure that the workers carry out their jobs in a conducive environment and in less than a normal considerable time or period, all the blocks have been re-roofed and are being repainted. The 4 gigantic 2,500 kVA standby generators abandoned for years have been repaired and are now functional. He showed great concern towards their welfare and happiness as he made his feelings known, and in all sincerity too. He lamented as he addressed Ndimo in commemoration of his first 100 days in office and successes so far achieved. In his words,
against the backdrop of an almost failed civil service that we met, our initial efforts in the first 100 days of our administration have centered on arresting the rot in the system so that the good people of Imo State shall enjoy in full their God-given wealth, knowing that leakages in the state treasury have caused untold hardship to them. These immediate steps taken by this administration within the first 100 days in office, by reviving the morale of the civil service, cleansing the public sector of a corrupt system that was shocking the state to comatose, giving the State Secretariat a much-needed facelift, and restoring the official office and lodge of the governor to reckoning, all add up to restoration of the dignity and respect of government as an institution. Once again, After many years, those who have reason to do business with government will see us as serious and reliable partners. In the area of physical infrastructure, we are towing a new direction of efficiency in the allocation of scarce resources. Our 100 days in office, therefore, offers an auspicious moment to share and review with you our journey so far since that fateful day of January 15th, 2020, when I was sworn in as the rightfully elected governor of our dear state.
This lamentation reels out the depth of the heartbeat of a sincerely concerned leader and an advocate who feels that his people have been so unfairly treated hitherto. Usually, the choices we make as humans here on earth play a very big role in our lives and further determines how far we can go, how well we will do, how successful we will achieve our set goals, and how impactful our existence will affect our world. Governor Hope Uzodimma understands this perfectly, and no doubt he is the best man for the job. Another milestone achieved by this open-minded and sincere administration, demanding applause, is a proactive measure employed to ensure a corruption-free wage management system by establishing a data center. The data center is a process of automating all salary payments by the government as well as all procurements. This implies that henceforth, through the center, workers can download their monthly pay slips as evidence of gainful employment, which will also enable them access to social services across the country. Also, in his determination to show love, care, and solidarity to boost the morale of the senior civil servants, Hope Uzodimma-led administration has provided official cars to all permanent secretaries in the state and judges in the state who for a long period of time have been denied of this necessity. His Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodimma, on assumption of office, met the governor's office and lodge in a state of utter disrepair as it was abandoned by previous administration. He took immediate steps to remedy this sorry state of affairs and now renovating the governor's office with only 177 million naira, far less than the 800 million naira the immediate past administration provided in the 2020 budget for the renovation. In the area of physical infrastructure, kudos and commendation have continued to trickle in for the Hope Uzodimma-led administration in the state for reviving the aged-long moribund and state-owned palm oil-producing industry (ADAPAM) in the state, especially to meet the economic challenges in Imo State after the COVID-19 pandemic.
We started total rehaul and rehabilitation and repair work in the plant that was abandoned, that was vandalized by the previous administration. Today, the mill is rolling. We are exploring the mill. We have done production, and the output was very viable. The per hour, we can be able to get 20 tons of palm oil of production.
During a scheduled visit to the state-owned palm oil producing industry at Ohajebema local government area of Imo State, the governor said the dwindling value of crude oil in the global market as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic is surely a thing to worry about. Hence, the Imo State government, in a bid to boost revenue generation and restructure her economy, had to look inwards for an alternative source of revenue, thereby reviving the aged-long state-owned palm oil-producing industry, ADAPAM, which can now boast of producing 120 tons of grade A oil per day, and when finally completed, will generate over 35,000 jobs for indigents of the state. Same feat has been achieved in the area of public water supply. Notably, in the last 15 years, the inhabitants of Owerri have been without public water supply. depending instead on privately owned boreholes for daily water. Upon the assumption of office of the governor, the government collaboration with international financial partners USAID involved the repair of a 200 kV vertical turbine pump, replacement of its starter control panel, the silting of its raw water tank, aeration and fluctuation chambers among other important repair works, and no sooner this maintenance work was carried out than water began flowing once more through the Otamiri water scheme. On the area of road construction, according to reports, the Uzodimma-led administration met on ground the award of contracts for 25 roads for different parts of the state, and because the governor believed government is a continuum, asked contractors to go back to site, not minding the fact that he met an empty treasury on assumption.
What we've just done is we went around, identified the real areas that causes the total flooding that the devils away each time there is rainy season. So going forward, works in those areas will be completed as soon as possible, so that the coming rainy season will not be a serious menace to residents of Owerri capital.
Consequently, the government identified some roads for rehabilitation to guarantee a flood-free Owerri capital before the rains start. Some of these roads are almost completed, while some are still under construction. 1. Opera Nozie Street to Relief Market Road. 2. Chukwumawanha Relief Market Road. 3. Assumpta to World Bank Road. 4. Assumpta Roundabout to Concord Junction. 5. Dick Tiger to Ebu Junction Road. And 6. Dick Tiger, Alademma to Lake Mwebere Road. Consequently, the governor, in solving the menace of flooding within Owerri, the state capital, has employed the services of experts that will service the existing manholes in Owerri to rid them of blockages, hereby constructing 1.8 meters by 1.8 meters underground tunnel starting from Dick Tiger Street, stretching to the Green Verge at Chukwumawanha Road and heads to Otamiri River, importing balloons that will be used to cast the construction of 1.8 meters underground tunnel, taking the water from flood-prone areas within the aforementioned axis to a discharge point straight to Otamiri River, thereby giving residents along MCC, Ikenebu, and Federal Housing Estates sigh of relief. The outbreak of coronavirus pandemic, no doubt, took the world by surprise, and Imo State is not an exception. But as a responsible and responsive government, the Uzodimma-led administration took up the challenge to face the pandemic squarely by first inaugurating a professional studied COVID-19 Task Force Committee headed by Professor Morisiu. And upon the inauguration of the committee, the government has continued to work tirelessly checkmate the effect of the pandemic in the state. Little wonder while Imo State records one of the lowest cases in the country. Matching words with action, the governor was able to put in place 6 well-equipped isolation and treatment centers with state-of-the-art ambulances for emergency response to the COVID-19 pandemic, with emergency call center to help in processing health and crime emergencies. The toll-free number for the call centers is 112. The Imo State government also embarked on the distribution of relief materials to the less privileged across the 27 local government areas of the state to cushion the effect of the economic hardship caused by the precautionary measures taken by the state government to prevent the coronavirus outbreak in the state. The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, while assigning the task of the distribution of the food items to the 27 Interim Management Committee of the local government at the Imo International Conference Center in Owerri, the Imo State capital, says the state government is aware of the economic hardship faced by the people of the state due to the lockdown of the state, and it is necessary for the government to come to the aid of the people at this time, even as the means of livelihood of some indigents have been cut short for the meantime.
And these things are sent to the various local governments, up to the world and our communities. We should try to shun any attempt by anybody to use it to cause confusion. The most important task is that this thing must get to the target. It must get to the people who have been ordered to stay at home, who most of them depends on daily income to feed. This may not be enough for them, but at least it will be a kind of support and show of solidarity on the side of government. Before the final and eventual distribution of these items, I must thank Mr. President, the President of Nigeria, for all his support and effort through the Ministry of Humanitarian Services. They provided stellar loads of rice to Imo State, tomato and other food items.
The government is made up of the legislature, executive and the judiciary, knowing fully well that for any government to succeed, there must be synergy and harmony within these three arms of government. And as a seasoned lawmaker, Governor Uzodimma knows the importance of the legislature, and by this, he has continued to work hand in hand with the Imo State House of Assembly to develop the state by assenting to bills passed that will no doubt add value to the people of the state and also address the yearnings of the people. Some of such bills which the governor has assented since he assumed office includes Bill on coronavirus disease and other dangerous infectious diseases and related matters in the state. Other bills are on Imo Waste Management Agency Bill and the Consolidation of Property and Land Use Charges Bill on amendment of Imo State Revenue Administration Law Bill 2020 within the period under review. By thinking outside the box and plugging all loopholes of corruption, the Uzodimma administration has been able to increase the internally generated revenue IGR of the state from 600 million naira a month to 1.2 billion naira. This great feat was achieved partly by eliminating the middlemen in the internal revenue generation chain who were paid 50% of internally generated revenue in the name of consultants and partly through sheer creative ingenuity.
Before this time, the law provided for a consultant that collects 10% of the total revenue collected, 10% to the Board of Internal Revenue, and 20% to Intraco and OCD. At the end of the day, 50% of the internally generated revenue is given out to consultants, and which is not the same thing with the law which they adopted. They adopted the Lagos Internal Revenue Law, and which provided for 5% cost of collection. And that we've gone back to really do that is contained in the original law as amended. So what we do in this case now, this new law empowers the Board of Internal Revenue to spend 5% of the internally generated revenue. The difference is that the expenditure will be subjected to appropriation by the House of Assembly. Before this time, they collect the money from source and they spend the way they want, which contradicts the provisions of 1999 Constitution as amended. So going forward now, the internal revenue will collect 5% of all the revenue generated as cost of collection. And from there, they will take care of their wage bills and salaries and capital expenditure after the House of Assembly has appropriated the funds. So that is more clear, that is clean and consistent with the law and in compliance with the necessary due processes.
Of great significance and thoughtfulness of the Uzodimma-led administration is signing into law of the bill passed by the Imo State House of Assembly repealing the payment of pensions to ex-governors, deputy governors, speakers and deputy speakers. The governor said amongst other measures, the state government is advocating prudent use of resources and streamlining the economy for face the future challenges. He added that the decision is in the best interest of the state, as his administration will continue to abide by the rule of law and deliver good governance to the people of the state.
This bill is very important to us because this bill has repealed the law that created pension allowances to former governors, former deputy governors, former speakers, former deputy speakers. Apart from the inconsistency of this law to the provisions of our grand norm, the Constitution of 1999 as amended, it also has led for a very long time a precedence that has not encouraged diligence and competence in service delivery. So today I'm very glad that our House of Assembly has done this great feat.
This action, no doubt, has continued to generate commendation from far and near.
It is the most altruistic and selfless and bold step taken by His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma. It is important to look at this, what I call a masterstroke, from two perspectives. One is in continuation of his agenda, his goal, shared prosperity. Under shared prosperity, you now see that some of these governors and who are enjoying these pension and facilities, we are among those who were there when those who have worked for 35 years and retired, we are not paid gratuity. Yet all of them will collect their end of tenure or severance allowances and still get these provisions. But it is the most important thing there is that we have to commend Hope. Not only Hope, the governor, his deputy, the speaker, and the deputy, because these are people who are denying themselves of what they should enjoy after completing their tenure.
To me, it's commendable. To me, it's acceptable. To me, it's the best way for stakeholders, for leaders, to start feeling like others. It's hurting that we politicians will stay in an office for 4 years, 8 years. And when we leave office, our pension will be the first that will be attended to. But we have our parents, our loved ones, that have served this nation, this state constituencies for 35 good years, and still their little pension will not be released. I think it's time for us to be practical. I think it's time for us to know that the way we want to be is the way others want to be.
In my own opinion, I think it's one of those measures that will go a long way in mitigating the heavy financial burden on the states, especially this period that you agree with me that we are facing serious challenges as regarding to both the revenue from Abuja and the one from the states.
If somebody has retired from government service and is earning pension in government service and gets another ministerial job or any government that is being paid by government, the pension must stop. Then when he finishes that job, he will choose the pension he will prefer. What the National House of Assembly in Imo has done, I think is quite good, very, very bold. And I think I congratulate the governor too, because obviously he's a governor and he's going to leave one day.
Unequivocally speaking, Senator Hope Uzodimma remains the best man to take Imo to the promised land. And with him as the captain of the Imo ship for the next 4 years, Imo can boldly compete with other developed states in Africa. Come, let's support Hope Uzodimma. Come, let's support the government of shared prosperity.